This is Houston Newsmakers with Cambrell Marshall.
We've seen Pastor James Dixon on the front lines of many important issues this community has faced through the years, and now he's stepping into the important role as the new president of the Houston branch of the NAACP. Dr. James Dixon joins me this morning. Congratulations on the new role, Dr. Dixon. So this is an amazing organization with a great legacy, not only in this community, but the United States. What do as you step into the role?
Well, first of all, thank you so much, Cambrell. So good to be with you always, and it's a blessing to connect and reconnect. And thank you for this interview. I am so delighted and humbled beyond expression to be standing on the shoulders of giants, not only in our immediate community here in Houston, but across the state, across the nation. Indeed, the NAACP is nationally and internationally known as the oldest civil rights organization, social justice organization in our nation. And so I'm honored to be serving in this capacity at this particular time. The NAACP is continuing to serve as a real force for justice in our nation and in our city. My vision is to make this organization more relevant, more resourceful, and more relatable, such that we can serve the present age. At a time like this, when social justice is social injustice has raised its ugly head, and the evil of discrimination and bigotry, anti-Semitism, and all those social ills that prevent us from becoming the democracy that we report to be. We are standing in the gap now to become that agency of change and advocacy that this generation is calling for.
You know, I've seen, you brought this up, and I've seen this written and talked about through the years about the NAACP and how it has been this great legacy organization, but that it had not transitioned with the times. And you brought that up. You talked about wanting to be more relevant. What kinds of things do you think are going to have to be done in order for this organization as it is now to social media / now role?
Well, first of all, we've got to intentionally and strategically recruit younger generations and develop them and then deploy them into action and advocacy. I think that's very important. We've got to speak the language of those that we're trying to reach, and we've already begun reaching out. I mean, I'm attracting people like Bun B and others in the hip hop industry who can interpret the social justice message and connect our history to our destiny. I think that's very important, that we've got to tell the story and shape our narrative such that the history of social justice is connected to the reality of social injustice that then fuels us forward into a destiny of activism. That's what's required. And that's what it means to be relevant. That means and resourceful, identifying the ills of our present time, over-incarceration, mass incarceration, that's injustice. And then economic injustice, the disparities within our own city and county. Recently, we've done, disparities, economic disparities at the county and at the port and other agencies. And it's woeful to think about the lopsided numbers in terms of procurement and participation for blacks and other minorities or the ethnic groups. It's ugly. It is shameful. We're going to take those things on. We're going to address corporate America. How many board positions do African Americans now hold at the corporate level? I'm talking about Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 companies, where you won't see the presence of African Americans at all in many, and barely there in terms of some. And how much reinvestment are corporations doing in our communities? We spend a lot, but we get very little for that largesse. And so we're going to address those economic disparities as well. Healthcare disparities. We see it vividly now during COVID-19. The fact that we are the sickest and dying the most, but we're receiving the vaccine the less. And of course, testing with difficulty get in our communities. So many disparities, but not just COVID-19. In cancer research, in heart disease research, we are barely there represented in clinical studies. And so our community is the least healthy amongst all. We've got to address those disparities in very tangible ways. So those are just a few of the areas. Education injustice, the fact that there's still fewer dollars invested in predominantly urban inner city African-American schools and schools where Hispanics attend, Latinos attend. We've got to address these disparities because those things are contributing to our continuous lagging behind. And then all of that results, unfortunately, in over-criminality. We are criminalizing poverty. We criminalize poverty. Let me say again, we criminalize poverty, and that poverty is caused by unjust economic policies. So we're going to be advocating in ways that are very active. You know, Kimbrell, I, as you said, I've been out on the front lines. For me, it's a message, it's a movement, and it all requires people to be a part of the process. So we're going to be very, very, very diligent, very vigilant, and very active. I think you hear the NAACP's voice gets louder, and people will have to wonder what we're doing. We're going to tell our story. We've been doing some great things, but often we've not told that story well enough. We're going to do a better job of making sure that the entire community understands who the NAACP is and what we're doing and what we mean to our community. So I was talking to some young teenagers a couple of weeks ago in an apartment project where we were serving people who were challenged. And I asked some high school African-American young men, what do you think about the NAACP? And Kimbrell, not only did they have any thoughts about it, they didn't even know what the NAACP is. They don't even know it exists. They don't know what it is. And man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Here is our mission. We've got to reach out, go where they are, tell them who we are and why we are relevant to their realities. And those are the people we've got to reach, the least, the last, and the left out. And that's who we're going to empower. So, you know, I got to talk to you some more on this. We're going to do this on my Newsmakers Extra. There's more to talk about. Thank you for sticking around for me, Pastor Dixon. We're going to do that. We'll have much more on Houston Newsmakers Extra on click2houston.com.